Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. We are already in the midst of the market correction that we see on the US market, and definitely our KLCI, despite some good news of foreign funds flows. And how do we know about the foreign flow? Check it out from our website tradebasic.com, where you'll see the foreign funds flows coming in, and they're coming in very strong. So let's go with what we have for you this morning in our Breakfast Show. And definitely today is the 1st of October. We are going to another month of October correction that we've seen in here, and the market doesn't look very good. But for those of you who like bottom fishing, and those of you who came to our earlier Zoom session that we did in the previous week preview, we have showcased to you some of the bottom fishing trade strategy that you could use to pick up some good trade, because we will see likelihood of year-end rally. We just need to be patient in this coming month of November. All right, so let's take a look what we have for you in our premium alert. And usually this Friday we'll be looking at some of the intraday trader, and it's usually for fast-paced intraday trader going for very short returns and not holding too long. Perhaps even with one or two ticks, you might want to take your profit and move on to next. That's what it's all about. But let's look at the KLC morning headline this morning. That's right. Now, like it or not, as I said before, the foreign funds are continued to come in, and one of the ways to look into this is actually going to the of course you can also use our plugin, but you can also go to our website here, and let me just show you here, Trade VSA website, which is a more simpler way of looking things in here, and switching to a wider chart. So on our site in here, properly well documented, is the market still continue to have a bit of strength in the background. You can see we are down 9 points. Everything is pink in here, and also, wow, look at that one. That's yesterday, minus 207 retreat. That's why we're seeing it out. Despite the news that you see here, they tend to be lagging. So that's why it's important for you to join our website and find out that to be on the time, on the spot. But having said that, let's also move on to what the analysts now are talking about, which is the oil and gas is deeply unappreciated, which means we are seeing rally on the US side, but oil and gas is not moving in tandem. So for those of you who want to, can of course use the Robie chart and go over to the hot sectors and check out what is in store for the oil and gas. And definitely oil and gas is still not up yet. Check out the sector Bursa in here, and then you can see oil and gas is somewhere coming soon. Let me see, is that the one? Construction, utilities, is it maybe this one here? Right, yeah, energy just below here. Okay, this is a CI, and I think it's just somewhere around here. You can see this energy, it's just right there in here. So the analysts are bullish on this sector in here. So what you want to do is just type energy, and you're able to pick up some of those if you are doing sector rotation. All right, one of the strategies that we do in here. All right, so you can see sector rotation, RL, we did talk about it, and some of them are Heng Yuan. Yeah, we did talk about Heng Yuan on Wednesday here, and also Sapura, which is continued to be negative. Yin Sun, which is a 94. Let's look at Dialogue, okay? And this is how we want to pick up some of these stocks. Okay, click on that again, and stock chart, stock pattern in here, whether that gives us an opportunity, right, for entry. Yeah, it did have a green pentagon, right, but yesterday we had also a reversal, but the trend is still down. So you need to just sit through and look for those who have a very good setup on the oil and gas, and following where a clue is being given by the analyst. So that's one way to look at it. Go through this list that we have on top in there, and of course it will be easier for you to put it up onto a desktop. Just get the free version of the trading view in here, and you can sort of connect it again, make it so much better. And it, of course, also Waseong, and all things being equal, look for those that is around the 50 to 60% Pentagon flows, and let's take a look at the chart here. This one should be much nicer, and this is what I mean here, a potential to get in before that breakout moving up, and that's one of the ways to queue in here, because you don't want to wait for the news to come up, or at least some of the analysts will be talking about this at that time. Those of you who know, it's time to take profit rather than be buying. Do I say what this makes sense or not? I think what is also important is to let the listener know, those of you in here been following me some time in here, to know how the market works, and definitely getting ahead in here, but they won't tell you which stock. At least use a hot sector to able to find those sectors that you need to. All right, now let's move on to our next story. Is on construction. So you notice the hot sector earlier on that we have. We want to scroll down again here, and you could see, let me scroll down earlier on. Is construction in here? No, construction is not in here. So it is off the radar because the SMARTRobie only display 5 of them in here. So in this story is about Gamunda, talks about how they are doing much better compared to last year. Their net profit grew 56% to 588 million compared to a year ago, 2020, 376, due to stronger construction and property earning as work. Revenue stand for 3.5 billion compared to 3.66 billion, raising the estimates to 1.6. But let's take a look at Gamunda this morning here, and switching to a wider chart. So if you look at Gamunda, and you're looking at the chart wise. So chart wise, again, very similar, has a pulse, and we did have a strong support here, $2. Now it's important in here, if you like Gamunda, this is the stocks that you want to, or you probably want to wait for the green Pentagon, whichever suits you, because the last time they had that, it has a very good win rate. Okay, so right now Gamunda is minus 62. All right, we might want to wait for it to turn back a positive, but from a chart wise, it did show you the support is at 2. For those of you who are more experienced traders, especially those of you listening tonight, buying at the support at $2 will be suits you in here. But let's take a look at also at the fundamentals here. The fundamentals so far are rated 2 out of 8, PE of 12 with a ROE of 6% with a dividend of 2. That's right. It's in, and we all know, constructions, property tend to not favorable in the economic recovery sense. More those of you who have done, try to look at travel, okay, travel and tourism, because that's the one that is opening up, and that's the one you want to be looking at, perhaps Air Asia. Okay, going to the next story is CY Park, which is a renewable energy player in here. So let's key in CY Park. Click on that one, and let's look at the stock chart, stock comment. So the stock chart and stock comment for CY Park is again retreated from the old high, and we all know this is quite in align with the KLCI. We've seen the KLCI also in here, hit at 104, pull back slightly to 1.96 cents in here. So this report saying that the third quarter ending July 31st, net profit rise 3.3% to 16 million, and revenue rose to 65 million. There was a quarter saw a reduction in finance cost by 65% to just short of $1 million, and EPS earning per share is 2.77 in here. All right, so this is the chart, seems to be supported just below $1 in here, and this morning, right, we did see previously a green Pentagon. Probably the live stock prices should tells you positive. Now it's almost unchanged. 0.96% is the volume that you've seen so far in here. Okay, something to take note of. Now let's move on to our next story. Next story is many people were very concerned about the likelihood of a windfall tax that they saw on the rubber glove because of the COVID-19. You know, the government is looking for revenue. So in this sense, the Tengku Zafro, which is the finance minister, did came out and said that likely to make a statement there won't be any windfall tax, and I do think that would probably gives a bit of room for the rubber glove maker to breathe, and there were anticipation. But all in all, I think that this is unlikely because it won't be fair to some of these manufacturers of rubber glove which already been taking a bad hit from the lowering of or declining of the average selling price or ASP, which was highlighted for me about 2 weeks ago in here, and you could check that also live video out on YouTube here. So on top of that, this talks about CPO is unlikely to be tabled also. So let's take a look at the rubber glove. Okay, I think this morning a lot of the rubber glove has been taken a hit. And let's look at the stock chart, stock comment here. You can see really broke through this market and going down. It's in the negative territory, negative 75. Let's look at live stock prices here. And it's down another 1.8% down. So it is, fairly unmanageable that top glove can go below $2. At this point, I do think that there is oversold. And at one point of time, let's take a look. Is that the volumes? Yeah, it's very huge volume in here that we're seeing at in here. We are very, very close to the bottom, as I said before, in here. Nothing have I seen so much on the ASP continue. Analyst is putting out a lot of this fire report asking people to sell, and that's what we are seeing, many of these CPO prices coming down. Now there is a question here by Fufu. US bond yield going up or going down? Just check the trading view. All right, for Fufu, make sure you get a copy of the trading view website in here and just type in the US bond yield. You should be able to find it. And again, this is something we cover more extensively in the US market section in here. If you have a chance, do join us again in our member session in there, and you can find out more too. Now let's also look at the US side, which we talked about earlier, the corrections, which time and time again I've been telling many of the audience here, the September month. And how do we know that? Again, going back to the seasonality on the pro dashboard of the trading view. If you don't have a copy, make sure you subscribe and get a copy and find out more of this seasonality, which in my opinion will help you a lot more and convenient too, right? I'll be able to convenient to have those information just at your fingertips in here, and that would definitely put you in the right manner. So the month of September seen the worst since September 2011, and October will be no difference. All right, now switching to the wider chart that we have on the S&P 500. And last night you would have seen, right, Alphabet, Chipotle, and all this are making some way. Of course, Apple continued to fall half of just short of 1% in here, and last night the market S&P 500 will close 1.19. okay, so up to 4,300. There were some of the heavy stock that were traded. The big gainers was AMD last night, gained about 2.5%. So the chips were doing slightly better, right? And the big decliner were the retailer, okay, like Chipotle, down 1%, and also Google and AutoZone in here. All right, so something that to take note. And also let's look at the chart that we have, right? And here we go. So you can see this will probably get extended this tonight, with the charts will be updated shortly in here. We do see the support at 4307 is at the 4307. So we are touching at the 420 because the market now the S&P 500 was down 50 points. This should retest back the bottom, but again, month of October, expect a few more percentage down in here. We haven't seen the bottom yet, no doubt. Those of you who are able to find the seasonal chart, do measure the number percentage down, then you can able to find out how low can this in here. But for those of you who are well aware and can understand the trade setup, looking at the positioning trading in here, the end of October will be a good month, because coming November here, be ready to start buying. Okay, and that is the so-called forecast that I'm giving in here, and more on our next slide here. Now going forward, also energy sector is rallying, and that's why I brought up the energy in here, which considerable risk reversal trade, because it was deeply appreciated like the analyst is highlighted in here. So the focus will be on energy. Some of those of you who have energy stocks, take a look at them, Dialog, Hibiscus, just like the sector in here. And of course, on the US side, you can look at Robie chart, switching to a hot sector, and you can type energy. You can see energy is number one here, which also in time in here. In here you can see Oxy, VFO, CVX, and if you have time, just sift through all the chart setup in here, and some of them do pay very, very decent dividend. That's all you need to do. Find out those shares in here. A little bit of work to be done, but if you want to make money and using SMARTRobie in here, this is definitely one way to help you through. All right. Let's move on to the Singapore side. And on the Singapore side, stock to watch, which was highlighted by the Business Time, is Singtel, Costco, and Hyptech. And just going through this list that was displayed in here, it does look the Singtel Z74 would be your best bet. Okay, Z74 here, Singtel. Okay, Z74 Singtel. So you can see the chart has certainly gone higher in here, right? So this is a good trending stock with a bit of pullback in here, and with the flow of 80% hasn't gone that high yet. So we are still waiting for a bit more room to go higher for this one in here. So check it out in here. The SMARTRobie has the win rate of 62.5%. So that's something very, very good, and something that you want to take a look of it future. All right, let's also look at the next. Okay, the next that we have would be the past leaderboard. Again, we are seeing market been selling off for almost a month. So a lot of this, what we call very short intraday trading, if you do get 3 or 4%, you need to go off, right? And last week we have Fitters. Okay, let's take a look at Fitters. For that manner, you can see Fitters in here, switching to what? So looking at Fitters here, you could see Fitters on the daily chart, right? Last week on the 24th, we were here at that time, right? And subsequently the market did go higher. So switching to hourly chart here at around 10-11 o'clock. So here we can see it is, all right, let's say we do it over here, we do get something like short of a 3% movement in there. So generally when you have, and then subsequently the market corrected. So right now many charts are used to distribute. You can see here hit an upthrust on the daily chart, and then subsequently the chart is likely to come down in here. That is a correction mode. Of course, the better way to trade right now will be to buy on pullbacks rather than any breakouts that you see. All right, just take note of this here. So let's move on to the next segment, which is the advanced trade idea, episode 121, and we have picked Zicon. Okay, so we have picked Zicon in here. So let's take a look at Zicon. Overall, the market is generally very weak. You don't need to trade it, but Zicon has a nice pullback and a breakout from here onwards, up almost 5.56%, and that's right. Profit target will probably be here. So what you want to do is switch over to the KLSE, okay, and go over the Robie chart, and you want to use the Zicon, hit that one, and stock. We want to look at the trading plan. first. So you can see trading man is in a strong mode. Next earnings is on the 26th. So we have R1. Weekly resistance is 48 cents. I think this morning already hit through. Alright, so that's why this is ready to move higher. We are looking at 54 cents, which is the old high around here. 54, that's old high. So if you have a little bit of room to take up here, this is where you want to be taking profit. So that's what is a quick and way. Of course, we want to check out the exit, okay, strategy to see where are all the support. Okay, exit strategy, if you look at S1 is the S1 is 42 cents and 41 cents, and weekly it's at 42 cents. Okay, the 42 cents is where your support is on a weekly basis. 42 is somewhere just right at the base here. All right, so take note of it. And switching to hourly chart, we have seen this market started to pull back in here. This actually is possibly a good area to get in, because it may be the beginning. Of course, nothing is for certain in here. Definitely we have that volume here, and let's see if this market can push up. We will come back to look at this also next week. Okay, so that's a very quick and easy what we call premium alert for you looking at the intraday trader. And of course there are more of the premium alert. Just check it out and make sure you use it, and it's updated every 30 minutes. Okay, so of course our January to September continue to be updated with the blast about an 8% return compared to a 4. We are still pretty much in the positive territory despite the KLCI being the negative. We have to thank because we are able to stay out during the Pentagon of the KLCI was turning bearish. And as I said before, the fixed rules did say that you want to stay out during this time frame in here. That way you can protect your profit. It's all matter about following the rules. And the only way to follow the rules is that we generally get our member to backtest some of the trades and they can validate it. As long as they are able to validate it, then they are ensured they will follow it to a T and able to make money. Something that we talked about it yesterday. And of course, more will be discussed this weekend. Tonight will be our masterclass. So for those of you who are already with us, I'll see you tonight on our masterclass in here. As such, this coming Monday, there would not be any breakfast show because we'll be doing our usual live trading with the masterclass member in here to see how we trade both the CPO, because in CPO you can short, and that's why we emphasize during this bearish times for the month of October and September, learn how to short. And if you can learn how to short, there is a possible of getting income trading, and that's one of the bases that we talked about also yesterday in our trade VSA feature in here. So we will be demonstrating how to do that and to showcase to you how you're able to do this in our masterclass. All right, so we're going to get down to the next section, which is looking at the stock chart and stock comment. All right, don't forget. Okay. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here to get all information and to catch up on the sectors that we talk about. And if you don't like to read, definitely, of course, you can like to read, you can always go to our tradevsa.com blog in here. All right, now it's a time that we'll be looking at the stock review. If you are from the public, just type in public and your professions. If you are top fans and sharer, you get 3 stock review. Of course, for our members will be unlimited stock review in here. Okay. We have someone looking at Marathon or Young here. Okay. All right, good. So please key in the stocks that you'd like me to review. Okay, if you don't have any stock review, we will end this earlier, and I will get to see you guys tonight in our masterclass, the beginning of our first day one. It will be a 5-day held on until over to next weekend. So with that, I see you guys later and see you tonight at we start at 8 o'clock. That's right, 8 or 8:30. Bye bye.